Uh, I need some nice chill music for when we're doing reviews. I need some chill music. All right. We'll see if this playlist goes long enough. It probably won't, because reviews take a long time usually, because we go really in depth, guys. Really in depth with the reviews. We don't just be like, oh yeah, the music was good, 9 out of 10. Although I don't imagine this review will take that long, because pretty much. Is there more than one ending? I would like to know. Yeah, is there? I doubt it though. Review time. All right, thank you everybody for your votes for Dragon Quarter, making it the next game that we'll be playing. Very much appreciate your support through this time. Thank you very. Whoops, that's the wrong color. This is the next game that we'll be playing. Hello. And this is the finished one. I'm very happy to have finally played it. Votes are being wiped clean. Thank you very much for your support. For voting for not only Grandia or Breath of Fire, but also all the games in between. Thank you. You were so close to making the next game a real Breath of Fire game. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I've never played Dragon Quarter. It's a brand new experience for me, so we'll see how that works. Thank you, Regison, for the bit and the automatic vote to Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I hate you. Thanks, I hate it. Suntop, let me know what your vote is if you wanted to vote. If not, that's okay too. Otherwise, man, we've gotten a lot of games under our belt. You gotta tell me. I don't know what 146 is. I mean, I could sit here and like sort the games forever, but if you don't vote automatically, just tell me the game. If otherwise, Wild Arms. Oh, it's right here. Okay. We'll sort it. Boop. There we go. All right, rating system. We are collecting data. When you tell somebody how good something is, you're comparing it to something else. That's what you're doing. You're going, in comparison to everything else, this is where it stands. Oh my god. The final boss was basically a butterfly. Screw you, butterfly. Thank you, Vazerol, for the 888. Very much appreciated. Link's Awakening DX vote. Thank you very much for that. When you're reviewing a game, you're telling someone, hey, this is better or worse than this many other games. To that end, 5 is average. 5 is average. Your average run-of-the-mill RPG that's like, oh, it's okay. 5. Okay? Not 7, not 8, not 2. 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. 5 is average. Okay, and we go from 0 to 10, 0 being what were they even thinking, they didn't even try, 10 being, man, this is freaking amazing, this is near perfect. Final boss is butterfly so that gets points? No. So, we rate the game on a number of factors. First being visuals, and it's not just how pretty were the graphics. It's how much detail was there, how good were the spell effects, how good, like, character aesthetic, that kind of thing. How much it felt like it made sense. You know, was this a ice cave dungeon actually an ice cave dungeon, or was it just a blue hallway? You know, like what do the visuals invoke in you? Something cool, like in wonder and excitement, or just another dungeon? Okay. Nothing's gonna get a 10 in Grandia? Correct. Your graphics are 100 million degrees out of 10, correct. Audio, it's the same thing. It's not just the OST, it's the voice acting, it's sound effects, how well those sound effects pair with the spells, volume balance, all that stuff. Gameplay, same deal. Even just walking around a map, like not having a mini map is part of gameplay. You know, that's part of the gameplay. Granted, RPGs very rarely had mini maps in this day and age, so it's not really going to get a mark for not having one, but still. Could have been a thing. Could have gotten points for having it. You know what I mean? You start at 5, and then you work your way up for bonus good things, work your way down for... Oh my god! Holy crap, dude! Wow, Chobin really wants to see Persona 5. There's been a lot of people that have also wanted to see Persona 5, dude. Thank you so much, Chobin, for the 10,034 bits, man. Fiesta practice. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, dude, for the 10,034 bits, man. That is incredibly generous. Always so freaking ridiculously generous, man. Thank you. And that is a vote for Persona 5 as well. Thank you, dude. Thank you, thank you. And always somebody that has to like the freaking somber mood.
Horse wiener? Now that's dangerous.
Thank you, Fox, for the 1,111 bits. Also a vote for Persona 5, by the way. Also a vote for Persona 5. You already have an ally. Look at that. Thank you very much for the crazy generous support there, guys. Thank you. Yeah, especially appreciated. Anyway, let's carry on. Story, all the story aspects of the game, not just, you know, like what was the story about, like how it's told, how well it carries itself, the characters' interaction, character building, stories, stuff, you know. Craftsmanship, I've renamed this one. It used to be an overall rating, but the reason I renamed it craftsmanship is because it's more of a score about how well constructed the game is. You know, is it buggy? Is it glitchy? Does it freeze often? Do the cutscenes make sense? And is it pieced together well? You know, RPG Limit Break is doing our Breath of Fire right now. Yeah, I'm actually part of this event. It's called the Questing for Glory 3, run by High Spirits. I'll be actually moderating it and restreaming some of the content through the week. I'm an admin for Questing for Glory, so I'll be over there after this. But I'll probably host someone else because those big channels, they get all the attention. They already have it all. But the enjoyment, so on these previous 5 scores, I try to be as objective as possible. I'm only human, so my personal opinion can seep in, but I try to be like, how well do I think other people will enjoy this on average, not based on my own tastes, but based on what other people have liked in the past, like what's good game design, that kind of thing. This is my enjoyment score. This is my enjoyment score. This is about me. And I can tell you right now, I already want to go back into my save file, and now that I know how weapon and skill levels work, I want to like grind up levels and get the skills and learn all this stuff and be all overpowered, but I'm not going to. But it speaks well for how much I enjoyed myself, doesn't it? All right, here's the games that we've played and finished with ratings. You can read them all here. I usually write this big old long synopsis afterwards. I've forgotten to. I usually do for a few of the games. Whoops. We'll get back to that eventually. Don't worry. So we finished Grandia. Very excited to have played that game again, finally. It's been a game that's been close to my heart for a long time, and I only played it once. And the fact that I finally have had a chance to watch and play it again, it's very exciting. You must retire. Nice to watch your channel again. Yeah, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. We're pretty much done here anyway. We're gonna do our final review, and then that's it for the evening. So tomorrow we'll be playing Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter. All right, time for the full review. Now, okay, visuals is where we always start because it's the most obvious thing. How do the visuals? I have to say, there's a lot of good, and some bad. It'll be November 30th if there's a 0 day. Yes, November 30th will be day 0 of the fiesta. So if it's a Monday or Tuesday, we will not be doing. It's Saturday, so that doesn't matter. So we have 18th, 19th, 25th, and 26th as our final variety days, as well as the 12th. We might actually finish Dragon Quarter before the fiesta. That'd be really nice to tidy it up and have a game waiting, you know, afterwards. Last year, we were on the final boss in Disgaea 2, and we had to wait all the way until the fiesta was done before we could finish Disgaea 2. And I was like, I didn't know how to play because it was like 3 months afterwards, and it was, oh man, it sucked. I really hope that we finish it. But we finished this in 6 play days, so maybe I'll take a couple, like an hour each variety day, or maybe I'll just wait until the final one and just go ham on the last day. I don't know. Anyway, I've heard that it's not too long, so I think we'll have enough time. But anyway, visuals, right? That's what everybody wants to know, where the visuals stand. Well, first off, the dungeon design was kind of hit and miss. There were some hallway dungeons with arbitrary, you know, tribal patterns or geometric patterns, or, you know, like platform, like floating platform dungeons and stuff. I hate all of those. I hate floating platform dungeons. I hate teleport mazes. I hate arbitrary geometric patterns on hallways, and I hate just any kind of generic, there's lots of hallways to crawl through dungeon. It's part of the reason why FF13 gets a lot of flack. Granted, FF10 is the same thing, but the dungeons in FF10 is the world that you explore. And that's why no one ever cares about it, the linearity, and mentions it, because they do such a good job of distracting you from what is a dungeon and just kind of makes it an experience. I think FF10 does a better job of saying, here's your adventure, than Grandia does, by far. Because it feels like you're going through these places and having an adventure, whereas Grandia just says, here, throw you to the world map, go to a dungeon, throw you to the world map, go to a dungeon. It's very generic JRPG, not really generic, but like classic JRPG in that sense. Is that bad? No, it's not a bad thing. Keep in mind, Grandia was made in 97 and FF10 was made in 2001. So, kind of cheating. Plus you have Game Arts versus Square. Yeah, you know, right? So whatever. It's not a huge issue. It's not like taking parts off or points off, but it is showing you what a pure adventure feels like. What does TRPG stand for? Tactics RPG. Tactics RPG. So, to that end, a lot of the dungeons felt a little flat, but a lot of the spell effects and the character designs and the portraits, and there was a lot of unique portraits based on like the emotion that they were having and everything. It was good. There was even like even the bosses had great pixel art to them. Like the third to last boss had like an animation for each side that he was swiping his arm. He didn't just have I'm casting a build, you know, animation. It was cool. And a lot of the bosses had a lot of really good idle pixel art. And here's the thing about pixel art. I have a lot more respect for pixel art than I do 3D models. The reason is for each frame of animation in pixel art, it's a unique picture that has to be drawn, and it cycles between the pictures like a flip book, except like a never-ending flip book or a repeating flip book. So if you have an animation that's 60 frames, that's 60 pictures that have to be drawn, pixel art pictures that have to be drawn and then cycled through for any idle animation or whatever, or 60 pictures that have to be drawn for the spell. And a lot of these spells had, you know, really big, long effects, and that's all unique pictures that are being drawn out and moved across the environment. That's a lot of work. Once you make a 3D model, done. Now you're just moving vectors. And granted, it's very difficult to have a realistic moving model. It's very difficult, but people get away with generic 3D stiff models all the time, and nobody says anything. I do. I say stuff because that shit bothers me when you have really bad movement on a 3D model. But anyway, that being said, a few generic dungeons, but great pixel art. Character art was great. Even though Justin was a twerpy little dork, I still thought he was well drawn, you know. That being said, I'm gonna give visuals. Gosh, I'm torn here. I'm gonna give it an 8 because I think it's at least as good as Valkyrie Profile. And I think what really really set me over the edge is when I started thinking about town designs and how there's a lot of really good detail in the towns. That's when I started going, yeah, the town designs are really cool. There was no like stupid perfectly symmetrical towns where it's like 4 houses on the left, 4 houses on the right, and then that's it. It felt like people were just kind of moving in wherever they could find space, and I liked that. You know, random knickknacks here and there and stuff. That was good. I liked the detail. King, thank you for the 43 months resub, man. I can't believe we're approaching 4 freaking years of resubs, man. Almost 4 years of partner, dude. That's, and you guys have been here this whole time. Thank you. Thank you. Audio. I'm afraid this one's gonna take a little bit of a hit, but it's not gonna be below average. So it would have been like a 7 or an 8, but they really leaned heavily on their really good tracks. The main theme of Grandia, every time I hear it, man, I can't help it. It's like waterworks just get turned on. I don't know if it's because of like that low guttural brass that kind of has that like sense of adventure, like being thrust towards you, like that bomb, you know, kind of feel, or if it's just a good track that gives you that sense of wonderment. And the unfortunate thing is they lean very heavily on that track, and they have like different versions of that track. FF13 is guilty of this too with Novala Crystallis. They do remakes of it. Like, what is that one? The Sunlit Waterscape? It's just a remake of. It's just a remake of that, you know. Almost all the tracks in FF13 are, and it's unfortunate because it's easier once you have the scale, like done, you know. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that there were a few tracks that were a little underwhelming. There were a lot of tracks that were great. The fact that it had unique tracks for being surprised in combat, and there was like 3 or 4 battle themes in general, was pretty great. Pretty freaking great. But again, the overall scope of the OST lacked. And the voice acting actually, I want to give it credit. A lot of the voice acting would have overlapping files. And why is that a good thing, you're thinking? Because in a normal conversation, you're talking over one another a lot. You know, you're like reacting quickly. A lot of games do this, especially Xenosaga is really, really guilty of this, where they say something and that you would expect an immediate answer to be had, you know, because they're having a normal conversation, and then it's like pan over for 20 seconds and then they respond. And while sometimes a pause is necessary for gauging scope and feeling and stuff, and Xenosaga does it poorly. Final Fantasy X has a lot of awkward pauses, but that's because of a bug that we can talk about at another time. But what's another good example of like really good non-paused voice acting? I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but this game kind of does that. They piece together the files in such a way where it doesn't feel drawn out or like there's long gaps, and in fact they kind of talk over one another a little bit. Disgaea, the voice acting is good, and it's definitely like spaced out well, and they talk over one another a lot too. That's true. That's a good example, actually, especially like Disgaea 4, I want to say. Anyway, the voice acting was still bad though, and especially when they tried to be serious, because it's basically a Saturday morning cartoon, and when they're trying to be serious, it's like it's not working. It's not. That ain't this, you know. So it was kind of this back and forth. So as much as I would like to give it like an 8, it still had some bad aspects to it. So I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to give it actually a 6 overall. But I think that main track kind of carried it. The main track and the battle themes carried the audio track. Okay. Gameplay. Dude, this is the original. This is the OG. This is the OG like IP bar battle system game. Okay, every game that has this battle system copied Grandia. This is it. You could argue that this is like a form of ATB if you want, but it's not. It takes the concept of ATB and turns it on its head. If you ask me, it's way better than ATB. In fact, if you ask me, it's the best turn-based combat system ever of any game. If it's a turn-based RPG, this has the best system because it's the most engaging to the player and the most interesting from a strategic perspective. It allows you to engage in the battle more than just hitting the buttons. Granted, the balance is not quite there in this game, and I think that probably is going to pick up in the later installations of Grandia and other forms of this combat system. For instance, Child of Light has this mechanic where you can hold the mouse on an enemy to like stall their turn a little bit, you know, but it's like limited, you know, but it still has the same overall system. But this is the thinking RPG more than just okay, do damage, okay, heal, okay, do damage, okay, heal. It's like I trivialized so many bosses because I was able to exploit that mechanic. However, I got it turned around on me for the same reason. There's definitely a fine line of balance with this kind of system, and it is there, but yeah. There we go. The skill systems, I forgot to talk about that. Giving it a 9, by the way. I like the skill systems a lot. Like, you use your stuff, you get better stuff. It makes you feel like you can specialize. It makes you feel like you can branch out. It makes you feel like you can do anything. And it doesn't feel like it's a long grind to do it either. Just cast some spells, do some things. It's great. I just want to play the game again. That's what I want to do. I just want to go learn all the rest of my skills and max out my elements. I'm pretty sure, like, there's, like, thinking about it now, I'm thinking, like, there's like this corner of the brain from 20 years ago that's saying, I'm pretty sure I maxed all that crap out. But I don't remember. It's been so long. I can barely remember what I did 5 minutes ago. What was I doing 5 minutes ago? Oh, I will be playing the remaster next year after the Fiesta. You can count on it. Grandia 1 and 2. It's happening. It's happening. Story. Okay, so like the story definitely captures your attention right away, and it gives you that spirit of adventure, and you feel like a kid. You're doing the things, it's silly and goofy and fun, and it doesn't have to be freaking crazy good story, but Bloodstained soon, yes. If I finish Death Stranding, that's actually what my next game was going to be, was Bloodstained, to finish that up, because we only have so much time before the Fiesta. I would love to finish it beforehand, because I'm very thankful of your gift to me to have that, and second, I want to freaking play it, man. I want to freaking play it. That's what I want to do. And they fixed it. They fixed the Switch version. They yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this. Story is nothing special. It definitely captures that sense of wonderment and feeling like a kid again, but it doesn't. It takes you out of it multiple times with certain points of, like, not necessarily the bad voice acting, but poor writing in a lot of cases. And I feel like this game is new enough to not have such a poor translation and writing style. And I don't think it's just localization. I think a lot of it is just the writing in general. But there's like a lot of, Justin, we need to go, Justin, or like awkward like dialogue that doesn't even make sense, or just like redundancies, things left out. Justin be like, well, this is good, this is it, we're gonna, and then the battle starts, you know, and it's like, wait, where's the speech? You know, where's the cool speech? I appreciate concise dialogue, because over writing is always bad, but it just kind of felt like there was at least a few more words you needed to say there before you started the battle, you know? There's at least a couple more. I can't in good conscience give it a good score, even with the fact that it wasn't really meant as a story. But the concept of the story also isn't really anything to write home about. Hey, back in the day, the big gods, they were fighting, and then they were divided, and then there's a wall, and you go explore, and then the bad things happen, you kill it. Great. Awesome. You know, there were a couple things that threw me for a loop, like Fina being in Ikarian was definitely unexpected, but I mean, this is not a game you play for the story. This is a game you play for the feel of it. And we'll get to that next, so I'm going to give it a 6. It's definitely better than some stories. Many places. Now remember, 6 is still above average. 6 is a decent score. It's not bad. Does story score include character score? Yes-ish. Depends. Some yes, some no. Character development is in there, for sure. Craftsmanship. Now remember, 5 is average, guys. 6 is not a bad score. 6 is an average score. It's like the IGN 8, okay? Great. Craftsmanship. Game is actually kind of it froze on me about 8 times. The game froze on me about 8 times. However, the game is kind of pretty well built. I would say it's not built extraordinarily well. It's pretty standard. Here, go to a dungeon. Dungeon leads to the next place. Go to the next place. Go to the next place. You're done. However, one thing that really bothered me is the world map felt empty. It felt like rushed. You just have this picture that you barely ever get to see of the world map. You never get to see the grand scope of the world map pieced together, which I really want to see. I really want to see the world map together. And another problem I had was there was no music on the world map. No music on the world map. I hated that. I could have just put any theme there, other than nothing, you know? Other than nothing. If the game didn't freeze so much, I would give it probably a 7, but I think I'm gonna give it a 6. And this isn't a bad score here. It just means that the game is average put together. There's nothing like Dark Souls has this whole interconnected world that makes sense logically. When you go up a tower, you're up on the tower overlooking the town. You know, you go through these cave systems and come out on the other side, you're there. You know, you're at the place that logically it leads to. Dark Souls has a disgustingly well-built, crafted world. Grandia is just like, hey, it's another RPG. It's got some cool stuff, but nothing exciting. The maps are okay, you know? I really liked the jungle. It was pretty cool how you kind of like go up little vines and stuff to get to different parts, like leaves grow out of the trees and stuff. That was cool. But so that's why it's not a 4. That's why it's not a 5. Because it has these little things that kind of give it a little bit up, but it froze on me. Yes, Grandia freezing up is a very well-known thing. It is a known thing. My discs are in great shape, and my PS2 is good. But yeah, like again, remember this score is about like the craftsmanship of the game, like how well it's molded and put together and created as a thing. You know, does it work? Does it freeze? Does it have something that makes it stand out? And to that end, it's right here. It's the gameplay. We already covered that. You know. I got quite a number of freezes compared to the normal play. Maybe. Enjoyment? Come on. every time something emotional happened when you climb the edge of the world, or the ending, or the intro, or you know, some kind of crazy emotional thing, I just like that theme plays and I'm gone. That's it. It's over. It's over for me. And I love the combat. It just, the characters are endearing and charming and fun for the most part, except for freaking Yeehaw Girl. I couldn't have enjoyed this much more unless I was playing something I absolutely loved, like Xenoblade Chronicles would probably be about the only thing that I could enjoy more than this. So 9. I had a blast with it. GG, Grandia Dunzo. Grandia Dunzo, my friends. We got a fun game, guys. Yeah, we finally got a fun game at Variety Night. I mean, here's the thing though. It's not like I didn't have fun with Valkyrie Profile. I enjoyed Valkyrie Profile, just, you know, lacked. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, there we go. Hey, Disgaea 5. Oh. 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 This is probably the highest rated game of all time, but it's so lacked on the visuals department, but everything else, jeez. All right, I should write reviews for these guys from Disgaea 5 on. Yeah, I remember all these games. I can write reviews for it. The Fiesta's coming up, yep, and we'll be unveiling more information about the Fiesta coming or moving forward. There is going to be tweets on the official Fiesta account coming up in tomorrow, this morning, in a few hours. You know, probably when Seven wakes up, he'll unveil some information, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So Final Fantasy Fiesta is just around the corner. But to that end, we are done for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for your crazy support. And tomorrow, Breath of Fire 5 Dragon Quarter, BGGC, I don't know. I'm bracing for impact on that one. I don't know how it's gonna go. As far as YouTube, the third day of Death Stranding will be uploaded to YouTube later tonight. I'll probably just do all the episodes at once because I'm running really late tonight. Really late tonight. So you'll get yesterday's playthrough of Death Stranding tonight on the YouTube, and then tomorrow I will upload the final episode of Grandia to YouTube, and then of course on my day off you'll get the first episode of Dragon Quarter. There's a 24-hour Twitch exclusivity with my content. Any content that I make, I have to take at least 24 hours before I can bring it anywhere else. That means YouTube. So to that end, there's always a day late. You know, it's better just to watch it live on twitch.tv/backgroundguy02. That way you don't miss anything. But if you wanted to catch up on stuff, that's where you'd find it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. PST, with Breath of Fire 5 Dragon Quarter. Cheers.